Today on ENR's Critical Path podcast, we talk to an executive who is pushing forth a new way of delivering complex infrastructure projects. I'm Eileen Cho.
And I'm Jeff Yoders.
And today we have an exec talk. Today our guest is Derek Amidon. He is CEO of GISI Consulting Group, a global consulting platform that helps public and private sector clients plan, manage, and deliver complex infrastructure and capital projects around the world. With nearly 10,000 professionals across operating companies, the group provides program and project management, engineering and environmental consulting, construction management, and government advisory services across sectors, including transportation, buildings, water, energy, aviation, defense, and economic development. He previously served as group president of Tetra Tech. Derek, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Eileen.
So I wanted to ask you, how long had you been thinking about, forming this new group, which has, I guess, an elite A-teams all-star squad of companies?
Yes. Well, our story goes back 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years ago, some very experienced, very accomplished senior executives in our industry. You may have heard of Dick Newman, John Denisio,
Mm-hmm.
Rick Newman, Jeff Kissel.
Mm-hmm.
And so 10 years ago, they were looking at the market and they had realized that over their very long and successful careers, they'd learned some important lessons.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to put those lessons to good effect, to good use. And as they looked in the market, they realized that the market really needed a new company on a new model. And so they developed this model, which I'm happy to talk about throughout this podcast. But let me just fast forward to today. So from that, 10 years ago till today, they've built a business now, which I joined about 3 years ago, that now has 16,000 total staff at GISI. So 10,000 are in the consulting side of the business. The remaining staff are on the building group or the construction side of the business. Collectively, we're on pace to exceed more than $20 billion in annual revenues, and we're operating in over 100 countries.
And this isn't like a year?
Yeah. So, well, I've been here for 3 years now. The first, say, 18 months that I was here, we had on the consulting side our operating companies. But after I'd been here, we embarked on an effort to create a formal global entity comprised of the operating companies that we had previously merged with. And so that's what I think you're referring to is our creation of the consulting group as one
Right.
global entity.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. And you do have some heavy hitters in your group. I mean, I know Hill International pretty well. You've also got GEI Consultants and Palladium and GAFCON.
Absolutely. So we're a unique combination, you could say, of a new entity,
Mm-hmm.
but with roots that go back, in some instances, 50, 60 to 100 years of activity in the markets.
Yeah, I was really interested, Derek, when you guys acquired GAFCON in 2024. It's a company that was known for providing digital twin model integration, and it's really a different type of delivery than any other consulting service. And what did you see there? Why was it right for GAFCON with GISI? Yeah.
Well, let me just give you some insight into what we're looking at in general with what we call a merger partner. And those items really apply precisely with GAFCON. So as we look for future merger partners, we're looking for businesses that have great clients, have highly accomplished and capable staff, and are in markets that have multi-decade tailwinds. And so GAFCON fit that pattern that we're seeking, and it's been just a great addition to our business. They had two parts to their business. It was their program and project management part of the business that joined us, and that business is very focused on the education market, which has now become a key strategic focus for us.
Yeah, but they'd been known for their digital twins and how they can sort of sort of make that education market go better, right? Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And you're part of a larger group called Global Infrastructure Solutions Inc., right?
That's right. Or the acronym would be GISI Inc.
GISI. Mm-hmm.
That's right. And so, and just to help uh, clarify kind of my role, so
Mm-hmm.
I wear two hats uh, at GISI Inc., our parent company. I'm the chief operating officer, and then
Mm-hmm.
the consulting group. That's the 10,000 staff business that you referred to. I'm the CEO of that business.
Do you get to travel a lot?
I would say, unfortunately, I spend a lot of time on airplanes, but I'm fortunate to be able to meet with many of our clients and our staff around the world. I wish I could do that without being on an airplane. Fortunately, that's not possible at this point. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I am on airplanes quite a bit traveling around the world.
Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
with big infrastructure projects, you sort of need a mindset that has all these different type of companies with the cultures you brought in, the digital integration, uh, procurement, through government services. You've got a nice collection of companies that can do a lot of things for infrastructure projects.
That's right. And our structure, which I think is quite innovative in the marketplace, the structure of having a global brand and operating as a unified global business, but simultaneously having regional and local businesses as well with their own individual brands has given us a tremendous amount of flexibility and really just power within the market. So, uh, organic growth is a very important part of our focus, but so is growing through acquisitive growth or through merger partners. And we've developed this strategy on the merger side that we think is one of our kind of secrets, and it's been the secret to our just phenomenal growth, and also just performance, year over year performance as well.
And these various companies, is there a lot of interaction and collaboration, or is it like, oh, this project needs the specialized skill set of this company, so let's stick them on that one?
That's a very good question. And internal collaboration is, you could say, our number one kind of internal focus.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a tremendous amount of effort and resources in making sure that internally we're connected, that the talent that we have is known and
Mm-hmm.
accessible throughout the business. So, in fact, I just was at a meeting yesterday in Boston where that was kind of part of the objective is to connect our talent across the globe. And as we look to the future, that's an area where we're going to continue to make investments and focus.
Mm-hmm. Well, one common challenge with mergers and acquisitions, although yours is of a somewhat different sort than the traditional ones, but is there ever, a struggle in terms of different cultures, personalities, maybe even across the world? There are different ways of doing business?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you brought that up because that's a question that comes into people's minds quite often. Now, many times as you kind of look through the history of mergers and acquisitions, there's a common pattern you see across our industry as well as other industries. And that pattern is that when a business gets acquired, often they are expected to kind of adopt certain culture or certain ways of doing business.
Mhm.
And what we've seen firsthand, and I think there's many studies that would back this up, is sometimes that integration actually sometimes destroys value. And so what we've been focusing on is our integration efforts are focused where they actually create value, where they improve our ability to serve our clients, where they improve our ability to retain and attract staff. And so some of the conventional integration focuses and methods we've found not to be effective, and we follow a different path. But we are very much one team, one company, but we're able to leverage off of the cultural differences,
Mhm.
both from a country of origin perspective, but also just from a market perspective,
Mhm.
from a company history perspective.
Yeah, and your experience with Tetra Tech, in develop site development, geotechnical engineering. I imagine you got to see that there, and then you can expand that mindset to all these other types of projects.
That's right. That's right. And just to add a little bit more to that topic, throughout my career, I started 35 years ago as an entry level engineer, and so I was in the trenches, so to speak.
Hmm.
Spent actually several decades doing technical work and serving clients. And what I've learned that we're, I think, effectively implementing here is if an organization, if a company is organized and set up to take their technical talent, to support their technical talent, and to help them succeed in terms of working on the best projects. So being focused on iconic projects, on projects that are material to the future of the host countries in which these projects are performed. That is a key focus for us. That kind of underpins the structure that we've put in place, the strategies that we've put into place, and our desire to grow the business.
Hmm. And in what directions are you hoping to grow the business, whether it be by sector or geography?
Yes. So, in terms of market sectors, I think we're at a very exciting time.
We are. Yeah.
There's so many things happening uh, in the consulting, engineering, and project management space. New technology, the use of AI, so forth. And so, what we see is we see opportunities around infrastructure.
Hmm.
Around the globe, infrastructure is critically under invested in. We see tremendous opportunities around water, and we have a very strong water resources capability within our company. We see very strong growth momentum in energy as well.
Hmm.
And so those are the areas that we expect to continue to have success in and to grow.
Yeah, the water market alone, like I've seen the modernizations in places like Africa, but even like here in the US, we're seeing plant expansions and things that are uh, really all of them are projects that started around $2 billion. There's a lot of opportunity there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've been there again, just thinking back in my career, involved in water projects, for decades now. And if you look at what's happening today, it's very exciting. I wish I was kind of earlier in my career. I wish I had just starting out uh, now because the tools to help engineers. One of the questions I get asked quite a bit as it relates to really every sector, but including the water sector, is how is technology going to impact the future? Right, that you hear people postulate that the more kind of simple engineering tasks, the more simple project management tasks will be handled with AI, and people have concerns around what this industry is going to look like in the future. um, I have a very optimistic view of the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, the
And I think
GIS maps with BIM connections to them, it's really exciting. Yeah.
that's right. And my view kind of the future and how technology is going to shape the future is that engineers are going to be more impactful. Project and program managers are going to be more impactful. When you marry top experts with more powerful tools, you create a much more formidable team. And that's kind of as I look into the water sector, I look into the energy sector, I see uh, our staff and other staff in our industry playing an increasingly more impactful role.
And with the chronic shortage of talent, be it from the engineering side or in the field, I would imagine that these tech tools can help alleviate the stress on those who are in the industry.
I think so, and I think so, but I think there's still going to be a shortage of top talent, right? So there's
Hmm.
there's the need for expertise is increasing, right?
Hmm.
Projects are more complex than they ever have been. There's more risk today than there was kind of historically on projects. And so, yes, AI will help, but there's still always going to be, I think, that shortage of the proverbial A players.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, the thing that excites me, Derek, is that a lot of consulting engineers now are delivering uh, GIS maps and other deliverables that act as, okay, this ties into your CMMS and the client is going to create work orders from it. And there's all kinds of opportunities to, they're delivering not just engineering, but services now, right?
That's right. Absolutely. And I think that service mentality, uh, you know, many firms have invested heavily in creating kind of more advisory, more consulting type services, and I think that's a trend that we're well positioned to excel in.
Hmm.
Our structure there again enables us to attract. Right, one of our core tenets is that of employee ownership. So we're one of
Hmm.
the largest and I'd say most successful employee owned businesses. So there again, the game to a large extent is getting the best talent. And those firms that are uniquely positioned to attract more of that top talent, I think will be more successful.
Hmm. Now, do you see maybe some competitors rising in this space, or
Well,
are there already?
I think, there's certainly formidable competitors out there. There's no doubt about
Hmm.
that. I do think we've been fortunate to have a little bit of a competitive advantage. And I think that's contributed to our kind of superior growth and performance. But the competitive landscape is very dynamic. You might be a little bit have an advantage one day and maybe not so much the next day. So the challenge for us as well as all of our competitors is to continue driving that momentum forward, to continue to differentiate and to have those technological advantages employed in an effective way within your organization to give you that edge.
Well,
Hmm.
and there's so much like DNA of all these other acquisition partners within GISI. A digital twin can be anything a client really wants. How do you serve those unique needs?
That's right. And we're every one of our clients, quite frankly, is unique and they're valuable. And that's where our structure, I think, is so effective because we maintain for our kind of we'll call it platform brands. We maintain as much of the culture as is helpful in our merged entities. So we give a fair amount of autonomy and we support and invest in those businesses. So they're able to use their unique culture, their unique technical capability to serve their individual markets. What happens sometimes in a larger firm where things get more homogenized,
Yeah,
you tend to kind of sometimes drive towards maybe more towards mediocrity than towards the higher end of the entrepreneurial, more technology savvy part of the
yeah,
market.
Hmm.
yeah. It's like when you say homogenized, it's like a lot of them are like, "Hey, we're just going to deliver this project because that's the way we've always done it." And hey, if you want this extra, digital twin that ties into your ERP to use for ops and maintenance or something, that's not uh, something they're open to, and that's I think where the real danger is not being open to new ideas. Yeah.
That's right, and sometimes larger organizations they suffer from a bureaucracy within the that inadvertently these things are never created on purpose, but inadvertently have levels of bureaucracy that slow their development and evolution as an organization. We operate a very lean, flexible structure with very little redundancy. We don't have multiple layers of leadership. We give a significant amount of both support, but also freedom to our highly experienced entrepreneurial leaders within our individual operating companies.
Well, you've got thousands of projects going on right now across the globe. Are they, how do you handle that amount of work? How do you coordinate amongst all these companies that are in this cluster? Y- I mean, that just seems like a very globally difficult feat.
I would agree. It's a challenge for sure. So here are a few of the things that help us. Right,
Hmm.
first and foremost, if you look at the leaders we have one of the most experienced leadership teams, and that goes right back to our founding. Right, when we were founded by Dick Newman and John Denisio, uh, Jeff Kissel, Rick Newman. These guys had decades and decades of experience. So when you have a combination of highly experienced leaders, very capable leaders, but also with a fast-paced, flexible, entrepreneurial culture. When you marry those together, you're much more able to manage complexity across the
Hmm.
organization, and that's really part of our service offering externally is to support our clients who are seeking to deliver mega projects, iconic
Hmm.
projects, and those projects have immense amounts of complexity. So it's
Hmm.
not unusual for us to get an assignment that's say $400 million in size, where we have
Hmm.
to hire 500 staff in a very short period of time and organize them into an effective team that's going to deliver a high stakes, high profile project. So that those abilities help us internally as well as externally with clients.
Yeah, just to give our readers an idea here, a few of these projects include the Mario Cuomo Bridge, the Riyadh Metro, uh, the Great
Very good.
Egyptian Museum. I mean, these are all big projects, and I haven't even got into Singapore Airport. I mean, that's another big one,
Hmm.
Derek. I mean,
The
tell
Changi
us about
Airport.
the
That's right.
scale.
And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, here's another project I'll just kind of share with you. You're probably already aware of it, but just in Saudi Arabia, in the kingdom, we are the PMO for their entire national water infrastructure.
Wow.
A very multi-decade or multi-year program, uh, a program that's critical to the national security
Hmm.
country. And that's kind of typical of the types of projects that we seek to position ourselves for.
Yeah, and it's like it's a place, Saudi Arabia, where very few projects aren't mega projects, right? They're all of a very large scale, and
Billions and billions.
I mean, whether the challenge is bringing water or people through a metro or something, it's
Or
all
building an entire new
scale.
city.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
That's right.
You're like the kind of the SWAT team. Go
Yes.
in for the most critical missions.
Yes. No. We also have uh, we have lots of clients, right? So we
Hmm.
have long-term clients that also don't have large projects that we are very dedicated to supporting them as well. And that mix of focusing on amazing projects, but also supporting clients for the long term.
Hmm.
That's important for our overall stability and lack of volatility in our business.
Hmm. Would that be things like on-call services or, renewable 5-year contracts, things like that?
Yes, we have those types of contracts, but we also have many clients that are municipal clients or
Mm.
private sector clients who
Mhm.
have a steady stream of needs, and we're there as a kind of a loyal partner to help
Mhm.
them both from a program and a project management perspective, or from a technical perspective as well.
Mhm. I know you already have plenty of projects in your worldwide portfolio, but are there any big ones upcoming that you're keeping an eye out for?
Always,
Always, of
every
course.
day.
Okay.
Every day. I spend part of my day, and there are thousands of our staff who are you know simultaneously serving clients, but also thinking about where else can we be helpful, where
Mhm.
else can we support clients. So that is a constant quest for us.
Yeah, one I saw
Yeah,
that's it's not a mega project, but it's the Museum of Contemporary Art in San Diego. Their expansion, 96 million, a little
yes.
small for you guys, but how do you help a program like that? It seems like they've got a vision that goes more than just the expansion.
Yeah, that was a great program, and our local staff there were just absolutely thrilled to work on that project. And I think our structure, where we have a local team or global business, but local capability that knows
Hmm.
that local market, that have the relationships with those key clients, that really contributed to our success there, in particular with that project.
It's a very cool
You
museum. Anybody
also,
who hasn't been there, go
yeah.
to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, there's also, I saw on your website that I was very happy to see at the Salt Lake City airport, the blue hallway, which I visited and wrote about a couple of years ago. Salt Lake City airport is near and dear to my heart. So,
That is essentially my second home. Yes.
oh my gosh, you fly out of there all the time, don't
yeah.
you?
Yes, I was just there at I was there at 1 a.m. this morning.
Oh, great. 1 a.m. My gosh.
Well, actually,
Wow.
by that time, I think I was out of the airport, but not for long.
What time? It doesn't matter what time it was at that point, I think.
It's a late,
You-
late night flight. That's right.
oh,
Well, it's
man.
like an airport is a funny thing. Like we've both written about them. Eileen more than me, but it's an experience where people are going to be there times of day when they don't want to be there, quite frankly, and it has to be a good experience, right? You've got a whole set of users that aren't the client or the airport authority that are going to use it.
Oh, that's right. And we have an airport practice that is a key focus for us strategically. And I would say that airports are just a great example of they're critical transportation infrastructure.
Hmm.
They're also they make a statement for a community, right? That
Hmm.
they're also uh, often the first impression visitors have. And so we've been very fortunate to work on many iconic projects around the world. Uh, and it's a good example of the types of projects that energize staff and attract staff. So, from a strategic perspective for us, winning those types of projects we view as critical to our long term ability to attract the best and the brightest staff and to retain them for the long.
Hmm.
Yeah, Changi Airport in Singapore is an experience itself. It's pretty. If you've seen the waterfall and everything, oh,
I have,
yeah,
yes, that is a very dear and important client of ours, and we are very proud to be there supporting the Changi Airport Authority.
Well, before we let you get to your call in 15 minutes, I wanted to just quickly ask you what got you into this business?
Let me answer the question this way. So I joined the engineering profession, I think maybe for a different reason than most people did. I mean, I was certainly interested in engineering, science, math, but early on, I was fortunate to have a father who gave me some good advice. And he said, you like entrepreneurial things, you like math, you like science, you like physical things that get built. He said, maybe you should look at civil engineering because it's an industry at that time that was made up of many, many little small entrepreneurial firms. And he said, you could both be an entrepreneur and an engineer. And I thought, that sounds good to me. I had no idea what a civil engineer did, of course, at that point, but that's what got me really in that quest. That idea from my father is what got me into this business.
in my house it
Thanks, Dad.
changed in 40, 30 some years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This industry has changed so much, and
Hmm.
I am so glad that I joined this industry. It's been such an exciting adventure, and as I said, I look into the future. I think there's even more exciting adventures for engineers in the future.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a good note to end on. Derek, I want to thank you for coming on our podcast, and I would love to tour some of your projects some of these days, somewhere in the world,
We'd
Europe.
love to have you. I would love
Yeah.
to have you.
Europe,
Okay.
Riyadh, wherever. Yeah, yeah,
There, wherever.
yeah,
Well, maybe you can go do
yeah.
the Saudi Arabian type countries, Jeff. I'll stick to like Europe and Asia. This has been another ENR Critical Path podcast. I'm Eileen Cho.
And I'm Jeff Yoders. For more podcasts, go to enr.com/podcasts or just follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.